In the magical land of Fairytopia, flowers bloomed in every color imaginable. Sparkly rivers flowed with sweet nectar. All the fairies there had beautiful shimmering wings. They could fly high above the flower meadows. They danced in the sunlight. Alina lived in a big, lovely flower called a peony. She was a flower fairy, but Alina was different. She did not have wings. This made her very unique in Fairytopia. Sometimes other fairies would tease her. They did not understand why she couldn't soar with them. It made Alina feel sad, but she always tried to be brave and kind. She dreamed of flying one day. Alina was not alone in her peony home. She had a very special friend. His name was Bibble. Bibble was a small, fluffy creature called a puffball. He was very loyal to Alina. He made funny noises and always tried to cheer her up. When Alina felt down because she couldn't fly like the others, Bibble would snuggle close. He would remind her how wonderful she was, even without wings. They played games together among the dewdrops. They shared secrets under the moonlit sky. Their friendship was a bright light in Alina's life. Bibble believed in Alina always. Life in Fairytopia was usually peaceful and happy. The fairies cared for the flowers and the land. They lived in harmony with nature. Alina loved her home. She loved the vibrant colors of the magic meadow. She loved the sweet songs of the wind chimes. Even though she could not fly, she found joy in her surroundings. She would walk through the tall grass. She would talk to the friendly insects. She learned many things about the ground that flying fairies often missed. This gave her a special view of her world. Her heart was full of hope. Despite the teasing, Alina had a brave heart. She never let her lack of wings stop her from exploring. She never let it stop her from being a good friend. She knew, deep inside, that she was special in her own way. She helped other creatures in the meadow. She always offered a kind word. Bibble would often try to teach her to fly, flapping his own tiny wings with great effort. They would laugh together. Alina's spirit was strong. She believed that one day she would show everyone what she was made of. She was waiting for her chance to shine.
Perfect.
One day, a dark shadow began to fall over Fairytopia. The beautiful, vibrant colors started to fade. The flowers began to droop. The air grew heavy and cold. The fairies felt weak. Their wings lost their sparkle. They could not fly as high as before. Something terrible was happening to their beloved land. Fear started to spread through the magic meadow. No one understood what was causing this sickness. The joyful songs of the fairies turned into worried whispers. The once bright land was dimming. It was a very sad time for all. The source of this darkness was the evil Laverna. Laverna was the twin sister of Fairytopia's good queen. But Laverna was filled with jealousy and a thirst for power. She wanted to rule Fairytopia all by herself. She lived in a gloomy, desolate part of the land. She had created a terrible formula. This formula was designed to weaken all the flying creatures in Fairytopia. It would make their wings useless. Laverna had a wicked plan. She wanted to be the only one with power. She wanted everyone to bow down to her. Her laughter echoed with malice. Laverna's evil plan began with a cruel act. She sent her horrid, fire-breathing minions, the fungus creatures, to kidnap one of the 7 guardian fairies. The guardian fairies protected Fairytopia. They kept the land healthy and magical. The first guardian to be captured was Topaz. Topaz was strong and wise. With Topaz gone, a part of Fairytopia's magic weakened. Laverna then instructed her fungus minions to spread her weakening formula across the land. They flew on dark, smoky wings. They sprayed the mist everywhere. The sickness spread quickly, affecting all flying fairies. As the sickness spread, Alina noticed her flower home, the peony, was also getting sick. Its petals were losing their bright pink color. They were turning a dull gray. Bibble, her puffball friend, also started to feel weak. He sneezed tiny, sad sneezes. Alina felt a deep worry in her heart. Even though she did not have wings, she could feel the sickness in the air. She knew something was very wrong. She saw her friends who could fly struggling. They could barely lift themselves off the ground. Fairytopia was in grave danger. Alina knew she had to do something to help. Alina watched as her friends grew weaker each day. The beautiful magic meadow was losing its glow. The flowers were wilting. The air was thick with despair. She knew she could not just sit by and watch her home suffer. Even though she was wingless and often felt small, her heart was big and brave. She decided that she had to find a way to stop this terrible sickness. She had to save Fairytopia. This was a huge decision for a little fairy who had never ventured far from her peony home. But her love for her friends and her land gave her strength. She remembered stories about the guardian fairies. They were wise and powerful. They protected Fairytopia from harm. Elena thought that if she could reach one of them, they might know what to do. She decided to seek help from Azura. Azura was one of the bravest and wisest guardian fairies. She lived far away, in a distant part of Fairytopia. The journey would be long and dangerous, but Elena was determined. She packed a small bag with dewdrop water and flower nectar. She felt a mix of fear and determination. She knew this was her only hope. Her loyal friend Bibble insisted on going with her. Even though he was small and also feeling the effects of the sickness, he would not let Elena go alone. He puffed up his chest and made brave little sounds. Elena was grateful for his company. She knew his friendship would give her courage. Another friend, Dandelion, also heard about Elena's plan. Dandelion was a kind fairy whose wings were now too weak to fly. He believed in Elena's bravery. He offered to help them get started on their journey. He knew some paths that might be safer for a wingless fairy. With Bibble by her side and Dandelion's guidance for the first part of the way, Elena set off. She left her wilting peony home behind. She promised herself she would return when Fairytopia was safe again. The path ahead was unknown. It was filled with dangers, but Elena focused on her goal. She thought about her sick friends. She thought about the fading beauty of her home. These thoughts pushed her forward. Her small steps were filled with a big purpose. She was ready to face whatever came her way. Her journey had begun. The journey to find Azura was more challenging than Elena could have ever imagined. She and Bibble had to travel through dark and unfamiliar forests. The trees loomed over them like giant shadowy figures. Strange sounds echoed through the woods, making Bibble shiver. Elena held his tiny paw tightly. She tried to be brave for both of them. They had to cross rushing streams on slippery stones. They climbed over tall, tangled roots. For a fairy without wings, every obstacle was a huge test of her courage and her strength. She kept telling herself, "I can do this." One of the first major obstacles they faced was the murk waters. These were dark, smelly swamps guarded by grumpy giant frogs. The frogs did not like fairies. They especially did not like fairies trying to cross their swamp. Elena knew she could not fly over them. She had to be clever. She noticed some large flat lily pads floating on the murky water. She carefully planned a path, jumping from one lily pad to another. Bibble clung to her shoulder, squeaking with worry. Elena moved slowly and steadily. She managed to get them across without disturbing the grumpy frogs too much. As they journeyed deeper, the air grew colder. The sickness Laverna had spread was affecting everything. Even the brave little puffball Bibble was coughing more. Elena shared her dewdrop water with him. She tried to keep his spirits up by telling him stories of a healthy Fairytopia. They encountered tricky sprites who tried to lead them astray with illusions. But Elena remembered Dandelion's warnings. She focused on the true path. She learned to trust her instincts. Her heart, though sometimes afraid, grew stronger with every challenge she overcame. She was learning how resilient she truly was. They also met some kind creatures along the way. A family of helpful beetles showed them a hidden tunnel that saved them a long walk. A wise old caterpillar shared some berries that gave them a little energy. These small acts of kindness reminded Elena that not everyone in the world was like Laverna. There was still good in Fairytopia. These encounters gave her hope. They showed her that even in dark times, friendship and help could be found. Elena and Bibble pressed on, their bond growing stronger with every step. Their determination to reach Azura never wavered. After many long days of travel, tired but resolute, Elena and Bibble finally reached the beautiful crystal-like home of Azura. Azura's home was nestled high in the mountains. It shimmered with a gentle magical light. It seemed untouched by Laverna's sickness, for now. Elena felt a sense of awe as she approached. Azura was a magnificent guardian fairy. She had kind eyes and a warm smile. She listened patiently as Elena explained everything. She heard about the sickness, the fading magic, and Laverna's evil deeds. Azura looked at Elena with great understanding. Azura knew much about the history of Fairytopia. She also knew about ancient prophecies. She told Elena that her arrival was not an accident. She revealed that Alina was part of a special destiny. Alina was surprised. She was just a wingless fairy. How could she be part of a prophecy? Azura explained that sometimes those who seem different are the ones destined for greatness. She told Alina that her courage and her pure heart were very powerful. Alina listened carefully, her mind trying to grasp these new ideas. She felt a new sense of purpose growing within her. To help Alina on her quest, Azura gave her a magical necklace. The necklace was beautiful. It had a pendant that glowed with a soft rainbow light. Azura explained that this necklace was very special. It was a gift from the Fairy Queen herself. It was meant for someone brave, someone who could save Fairytopia. The necklace would protect Alina. It would guide her. It would also help her prove her identity as a true hero. Alina felt the warmth of the necklace as she put it around her neck. It felt like a symbol of hope. Azura then told Alina about Laverna's main weakness. Laverna was powerful, but her power had limits. Azura believed that Alina was the only one who could stop Laverna. She encouraged Alina to believe in herself. She told her that true strength comes from within, not from wings. Alina felt a surge of courage. She was no longer just a wingless fairy. She was Alina, a fairy with a mission, a fairy with a destiny. She thanked Azura for her wisdom and her help. She was ready to face whatever came next. Bibble chirped excitedly, feeling hopeful too. Just as Alina was feeling hopeful, disaster struck. Laverna's fungus minions suddenly attacked Azura's home. They were more powerful than Alina had imagined. They swarmed the crystal dwelling. A fierce battle began. Azura fought bravely to protect Alina and Bibble. She used her magic to create shields of light, but the fungus creatures were too many. In the chaos, Azura was captured. Laverna's minions took her away, just as they had taken Topaz. Alina watched in horror. She felt helpless. The beautiful necklace Azura gave her pulsed with a worried light. To make matters worse, Laverna was very cunning. She used her magic to spread a false rumor. She made it seem like Alina had led the fungus creatures to Azura. She blamed Alina for Azura's capture. Many fairies, confused and scared, started to believe Laverna's lies. They turned against Alina. They called her a traitor. Alina was heartbroken. She had tried so hard to help. Now she was being hunted. She had to flee with Bibble clinging to her. It was a lonely and terrifying time. She felt lost and misunderstood, but help came from an unexpected source. As Alina and Bibble were hiding, a giant, beautiful butterfly named Hue found them. Hue was magnificent. His wings were a kaleidoscope of colors. He was one of the few flying creatures not yet fully weakened by Laverna's formula, though he was struggling. Hue had seen what really happened. He knew Alina was innocent. He saw her bravery. He decided to help her. He offered Alina and Bibble a ride on his back. He could still fly, though not as strongly as before. He believed in Alina's goodness. With Hue's help, Alina and Bibble escaped their pursuers. They flew over the treetops away from the danger. Alina was so grateful to Hue. He was a kind and gentle giant. He listened to her story. He offered words of comfort. He reminded her that truth always comes out in the end. Hue became a loyal friend and a brave ally. He was determined to help Alina clear her name and save Fairytopia. Alina felt a renewed sense of determination. She was not alone anymore. She had friends who believed in her. Together they would face Laverna. Hue knew someone who might be able to help them understand Laverna's full plan. He flew Alina and Bibble to a hidden part of Fairytopia. This was a place where fairies who disagreed with Laverna often sought refuge. There they met a sea butterfly fairy named Dahlia. Dahlia was once one of Laverna's closest attendants, but Dahlia had a good heart. She had seen Laverna's cruelty and her wicked ambitions. She could no longer support Laverna. She had secretly left Laverna's dark fortress. Dahlia was cautious at first, but Hue trusted Alina, so Dahlia decided to listen. Dahlia listened intently as Alina recounted her story. She saw the honesty in Alina's eyes and the glow of Azura's necklace. Dahlia then revealed Laverna's complete evil scheme. Laverna was not just weakening the fairies. She planned to steal all the powers from the 7 captured guardian fairies. There was a special place called the Union Point. If Laverna could channel the guardian's powers through this Union Point into herself, she would become all-powerful. She would then rule Fairytopia with an iron fist. No one would be able to stop her. This was her ultimate goal. Dahlia explained that Laverna had built a special siphoning machine. This machine was designed to drain the magic from the Guardians. The Union Point was located deep within Laverna's fortress. It was heavily guarded by her most fearsome fungus minions. The plan was incredibly dangerous, but Dahlia knew the layout of the fortress. She knew some secret passages. She wanted to help Alina stop Laverna. She felt guilty for ever being part of Laverna's court. She wanted to make things right. She saw the courage in Alina, the wingless fairy. Alina, Bibble, Huey, and now Dahlia formed a small but determined team. They knew the task ahead was enormous. They were facing a powerful and ruthless enemy. But they also knew that the fate of Fairytopia rested on their shoulders. Alina felt the weight of this responsibility, yet she also felt a growing strength within herself. She was no longer just the wingless fairy from the peony. She was a leader. She was a symbol of hope. With her friends by her side, she started to form a plan to infiltrate Laverna's fortress and destroy the Union Point. With Dahlia's knowledge of Laverna's fortress, the brave group planned their daring mission. They knew they had to act quickly. Laverna was close to achieving her goal of ultimate power. Dahlia guided them through secret tunnels. These tunnels were dark and winding. They led deep into the heart of Laverna's territory. Bibble, despite his fear, tried to be brave, making small squeaks of encouragement. Hugh, too large for the tunnels, waited anxiously outside, ready to assist if they managed to get the Guardians out. Alina clutched Azura's necklace. Its light seemed to pulse with her own courage. Inside the fortress, they faced many dangers. They had to sneak past patrolling fungus guards. They avoided treacherous traps set by Laverna. Alina's cleverness and Dahlia's knowledge were essential. They finally reached the chamber where Laverna was performing her evil ritual. The captured Guardian fairies, including Azura and Topaz, were trapped. Their magic was being drained into the Union Point. Laverna stood before it, her eyes glowing with triumph. She was about to absorb all their power. The sight filled Alina with a desperate resolve to stop her. Laverna saw Alina. She was surprised that a wingless fairy had come so far. Laverna, in her arrogance, tried to tempt Alina. She offered Alina what she had always dreamed of: wings. Beautiful, powerful wings. All Alina had to do was join Laverna. She could fly. She could be powerful. For a moment, Alina hesitated. The dream of flying was so strong, but then she looked at her trapped friends. She thought of Fairytopia. She knew true strength was not just about having wings. It was about doing what was right. She bravely refused Laverna's offer. Alina declared that she would never join Laverna. She would fight to protect her friends and her home. This enraged Laverna. A fierce battle erupted. Alina, using her wits and the magic of Azura's necklace, fought against Laverna's dark spells. Bibble and Dahlia helped by creating distractions and freeing the Guardians. Alina knew she had to destroy the Union Point. With a final surge of courage, she focused all her energy. She used the necklace's power, combined with her own inner strength. She aimed a beam of pure light at the Union Point, shattering it into 1,000,000 pieces. When the Union Point shattered, Laverna's stolen power exploded away from her. The dark magic that had been siphoned from the Guardian Fairies was released. It flowed back to them, restoring their strength. Laverna shrieked in fury as her plans crumbled. The fortress began to shake. Without the stolen magic, Laverna was weakened. The Guardian Fairies, now free and powerful again, combined their magic. They banished Laverna from Fairytopia, sending her far away to a place where she could do no more harm. The dark clouds over Fairytopia began to part. Sunlight streamed through. With Laverna defeated, the sickness that plagued Fairytopia vanished. The flowers began to bloom again in vibrant colors. The rivers sparkled once more. The fairies felt their strength return. Their wings regained their shimmer. Joy and relief spread throughout the land. Alina, Bibble, Dahlia, and Hugh were hailed as heroes. All the fairies who had once doubted Alina now cheered for her. They saw her incredible bravery. They understood that courage and a good heart were more important than wings. Alina had saved them all. She had proven that even the smallest among them could make a big difference. The Fairy Queen herself appeared. She was radiant and kind. She thanked Alina for her selfless courage and her unwavering spirit. The Queen explained that Alina's journey was a testament to her true worth. Because Alina had acted with such bravery, kindness, and selflessness, she had earned a great reward. As the Queen spoke, a beautiful shimmering light enveloped Alina. It was warm and magical. Alina felt a strange and wonderful sensation on her back. She looked, and to her amazement, a pair of beautiful, colourful wings began to grow. They were the most magnificent wings anyone in Fairytopia had ever seen. They sparkled with all the colours of the rainbow. Alina slowly flapped them. She rose into the air. She could fly. Tears of joy streamed down her face. Bibble flew up beside her, chirping happily. All of Fairytopia celebrated. Alina, the once wingless fairy, soared through the sky. She had not only saved her home, but had also discovered her own inner strength and found her true destiny. She learned that being different was her greatest strength. And now, she could dance in the sunlight with all her friends, a true hero of Fairytopia.